Hi everyone, I'm Maria McLachlan and this is the third video in my series inspired by this tweet by Katy, aka Pronoun Montgomerie. Trans women in women's spaces are new. Huh? This is about as random as you can get in a list of supposed conspiracies. I'm sure I don't need to explain why it isn't one, so this won't take long at all. I'll wager that the brilliant labyrinthine thought process that arrived at this assertion went something like, gender-critical TERFs are saying they don't want us trans women in their spaces, but we've always gone in their spaces, so they must think it's a new thing because they're dumb, conspiraloonies, etc. Goodness knows, we've heard it ad nauseum that trans-identifying men have always used women's public toilet facilities. So what? That doesn't mean it's okay. They're supposed to be single sex, and for the very good reason that most of us do want privacy from strangers of the other sex in certain situations. I've covered the arguments in previous videos, so I'm not going to repeat them here. I mean, they're bleeding obvious anyway. I'll be honest here. About, say, 15 years ago, sometime well before this culture war we are now fighting had broken out, I didn't know any trans people, and if I thought about it at all, I would have assumed that all trans-identifying men were gay and very effeminate. It so happens that everyone I've spoken to that isn't involved in the war and doesn't take much interest in it makes the same assumption initially. It makes some kind of intuitive sense that if a man wishes he were a woman and wants to present as a woman, then he's probably a very feminine man in the first place. Most people don't know what the hell autogynephilia is. If somebody had told me back then that there was a trans woman in the toilets or changing rooms that I was about to use, I probably would have imagined someone like Nadia Almada, who won Big Brother UK. Great character, actually. Really funny, I thought. Would I be bothered by someone like Nadia using the ladies' room? Probably not at all, but things are different now. We know a lot more about transgenderism and trans-identifying men. We know, the ones of us that aren't going la 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 la, that most are heterosexual and that most don't have genital surgery and they commit sex crimes at the same rate as other men, and many are a great deal more obnoxious and misogynistic, at least in my experience. I see plenty of women publicly saying that they aren't bothered about trans women using the same public toilet as they, but I suspect many of them think they are all like Nadia. I still wouldn't feel uncomfortable sharing certain spaces with Nadia, but that we can't just have one rule for the guys that some of us aren't bothered about, and another rule for the likes of Jessica Yaniv or what's that part-timer's name? Philip Bunce, or someone like Alex Drummond. I mean, don't tell me that a bloke with a full beard has gender dysphoria. He's just another straight man who likes poncing around in a dress and wearing makeup. And that would be absolutely fine if he didn't also claim to be a woman and a lesbian. That is just so insulting. Have you seen that video of him tinkering around under the bonnet of his car in all his jewellery and saying women are allowed to fix cars too? Oh, he's just a troll. Anyway, I'm digressing. Of course, I had to check out Pronoun Montgomerie's Twitter timeline to see if he'd written any more about this particular topic recently, and the very top tweet, the most recent one at the time I looked, was this one. I went to M&S yesterday to try on some swimming costumes and there was a man in the changing rooms. Yeah, you. A cis man, maybe mid-50s, helping his wife try stuff on. Are we supposed to pretend that this stuff has never happened before, or that we should be offended in order to demonize me? Me, it's all about me. On reading that first sentence, my instant thought was obviously that Pronoun had spotted himself in the mirror, but when I realised he was talking about someone else, I thought, well, That other bloke shouldn't have been in the changing rooms any more than Pronoun himself should have. But in the next sentence we read that the man was helping his wife try stuff on. Why would she need help unless she was suffering from some kind of physical impairment, either temporary or permanent? When I smashed my upper humerus to bits, I needed my husband's help to get dressed for quite a long time. So his presence may well have still made other women uncomfortable, but at least a man helping his disabled wife, if she was disabled, will be focused on her, we hope, and not trying to spy on other women. The fact is, we don't know the whole story. He may have had a legitimate reason in helping his wife. If he didn't, he shouldn't have been there. In any event, it doesn't compare to a man choosing to use the women's changing rooms to try on clothes himself when there are men's changing rooms available. Can you really not see the difference, Pronoun? Pronoun represents a movement for men to access spaces where women and girls get partially or wholly undressed, regardless of the feelings of those women and girls. This is an encroachment on the rights of women and girls, and the dismissal of our rights and feelings like this is dehumanizing. It's trying to force submission to male entitlement. Finally, amongst the dumb and nasty responses to Pronoun's tweet about the changing room was one from this man. He's obviously okay because he's cis and respectably old, not one of those weirdos that shouldn't be there. He's fine because reasons, and the reasons are obvious because more reasons and biology and stuff. What? Firstly, there's no such thing as respectably old. Haven't you ever been leered at or molested by a dirty old man? Aren't dirty old men a thing anymore? Because they certainly were when I was young. Oh, the stories I could tell you. But the rest of this tweet, waffling on about reasons and more reasons and biology and stuff. There are reasons, they are sound, and they have been clearly and repeatedly articulated by many people, including me. But your refusal to engage with them, your dismissal, mockery, and the unbelievable narcissism of claiming victim status because we don't want you violating our domain is one reason why more and more people are hitting peak trans and pushing back. So, up yours. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.